Mary, did you know that your baby boy is Lord of all creation? Mary, did you know that your baby boy will one day rule the nations? Did you know that your baby boy is heaven's perfect land?
Hello, my name's Tristan Rupp, and I am the sister of Chris Rupp. And a little bit about my background. I was in high school choirs. I did a lot of musicals in high school, and then I got my degree in musical theater at Minnesota State University of Mankato, where we're from. And I was also in a jazz singers group in college. And then after college, I started to join some cover bands, bar bands, corporate party bands, wedding bands, that sort of thing. And then Chris and I decided to start 7th Ave. And we've been doing this for a couple of years now.
All right. Hey there, my name is Adam Bastine. I'm originally from Flint, Michigan. I currently live in New York City. I grew up singing, started at the age of probably 12 singing, and didn't have a choir in my high school, but waited till I went to college to join the choir
Did you
there.
have a choir in high school?
No, we had a band. So I was in a band. I was a band geek.
Right.
And then after college, I moved to Nashville, pursued singing a little bit there, jumped on cruise ships as a performer, and then eventually moved to New York City, where I sing with a bunch of different event companies and do some session singing now and then, have some original music, and then was also on The Voice last season 15, with a duo called One Up Duo. And now I'm here with the 7th Ave Band and getting ready to kick off a tour.
Hi, I'm Chris Rupp. I'm the, founder of 7th Ave. I went to school in Mankato as well with my sister Tristan there. To Gustavus Adolphus College in St. Peter and then Minnesota State University Mankato. I created a group back then called Home Free, an a cappella band with my brother. And 10 years later after that, we got on a reality TV show called The Sing Off on NBC, and we ended up winning the darn thing. So that was cool. And after about 3 years of touring with Home Free at that point and releasing a bunch of albums on Columbia Records, I decided to go off and do my own solo thing for a while, but I still wanted to sing with people. So I created a band called 7th Ave with my sister and Adam here. And actually it was kind of a neat story in the sense that I created a solo project after leaving Home Free, and I had them both sing on it. And then as we did our live release party, they came out, and then we had such a good time singing together, the three of us. We kind of said, let's do something with this. This is great. And so we created the group. And here we are 3 years later.
Hi, y'all. I'm Marie Nicole, and I'm from Toms River, New Jersey. I went to college at High Point University in North Carolina. I studied music and theater. My primary background is in musical theater and a cappella as well. When I graduated college, I worked on cruise ships as a singer for several years and have worked at regional equity theaters across the country, specifically in the tri-state area, New York, Pennsylvania, and New Jersey. And I met Chris here on a cruise ship, and we geeked out over our love for a cappella together, and the rest is history. I came on board as a guest artist with 7th Ave about 2 years ago now, and I'm happy to be touring with them.
Yeah, now as of this year now, Marie is officially a member of 7th Ave with us.
Yay!
Excited to be here.
Yeah. So 7th Ave was kind of conceived as a cover group. We wanted to take songs that you're familiar with, either new songs that are out today or older standards and classics, and put a different, unique spin on them. You know, we didn't want to just be a cover band that you might see in a bar. So with the 4 strong singers, we wanted to do a lot of heavy vocal arrangements in the songs, and also do different takes on them. Taking a song that maybe on the radio now is a pop song and turning it into a rockabilly song, like we did with the Meghan Trainor song, or kind of a swing, 40s swing, like we did with Uptown Funk. Things like that. Taking them in different directions. All of us do, however, do original music as well. So one of the things that is kind of neat about 7th Ave is while we are a group, we all have our own strong solo careers and side projects. So this isn't our end-all, be-all what we do. So we kind of form a super group. We need magic rings or something. By our powers combined. Something coming together. So we all have our own solo projects. So for example,
an idea.
we need rings. I've released several a cappella gospel CDs. I have my own Christmas album, a piano CD out, and I also released a CD of kind of pop country originals. So that's kind of what I do on the side as well. But we all have our own side projects, like Tristan.
I've written a couple of tunes, and I do have my own cute little ditty album called Love Trip. It's available on Chris's website. But I mostly do covers.
Uh-huh. And you perform in several bands in Seattle right now, right? And
It's ridiculous.
yeah, so busy.
But we also had an opportunity. Chris and I were recording a demo for someone, a songwriter based out of Boston, right? Is she in Boston? The woman that wrote the
Oh,
two
yeah,
songs?
yeah. I don't know where
So-
she's out of. Actually, yeah.
I want to say Boston, but that could be totally wrong. But we were recording some demos back in the summertime, and we really fell in love with one of them, which was a Christmas song. And then she gave us permission to record it. So we recorded it as a group. So it kind of evolved from just doing a little session to becoming
A full arrangement
really
of
the
it, yeah.
first 7th Ave original, right?
Yeah, I put one of mine on the first CD with Kelly, but that was just...
But
as
it was
a
a
Yeah,
whole group.
yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah.
As a full group. So that was actually a really cool way. And I think that's what we're discovering with 7th Ave is that everything is trial and error and things just kind of happen accidentally. And some of them are happy accidents. Some of them we learn from and we never do them again.
But Adam also has got his own... You have your own EP original stuff
Yep.
out, right?
Yep.
And then with his new group, One Up, you're doing some original music as well, yeah?
Mhm. Yep. And then we incorporate that stuff into our show as well so that people that come to see our show get to see what we do together, but then also get to have like a taste of what we do as individuals.
Yeah.
Right before
totally.
this interview, actually, we were discussing our set list for the upcoming tour and kind of framing that all as to how we're going to do it. Like, okay, the second set now, we really want to do highlight the individual things that we do as well. And it worked out really neat as we were putting that together. And then now, Marie, what do you do?
What don't
I do? For me as an individual, like I said, I have a big history in theater. I do all things theater. I direct, I choreograph. I actually have an EP that I put out too. Ironically, it's called Stage and Screen, so it's all songs from movies and theater. Surprise!
All ones you wrote, right?
Yeah. I write a couple originals, but those are personal to me. I'm still.
She hasn't shown them to us
No,
yet.
no one's heard any of the songs I wrote.
When you're ready.
But
When
but
you're
isn't
ready.
that the cool thing about art and music is that not only is it something that you can share with the world, but it's something that you do personally for fulfillment or
Yeah.
for
Expression.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, thank you. It's a beautiful thing, both shared publicly and to kind of have a private moment to yourself, and that's kind of what my originals do for me. They're very
Yeah,
you know,
I got some of those too.
let out the feelings.
Got some of those too. I do, girl. I hear you. Mhm.
All of our arrangements come from mostly the brain of this gentleman right here, but we have a couple other people that we work with depending on the song and the style that we're going with. Also, it kind of gives Chris a little bit of a break from doing everything else that he does. But I would like to say that I don't know, you do probably half of our vocal arranging, right?
Yeah, maybe 2/3.
Okay,
I have
it's generous. But.
Yeah, I have one guy in particular I work with in LA. I like to just change it up. He brings a different idea and flavor to the songs that we do. I love doing what I do, but also I know I have my own strengths and weaknesses, and also I just like the variety. So I will contract him out to do some stuff for us. For example, right now, next week, we're doing a big wave of music videos. So there's a lot of new music, and I arranged 2 or 3 of them, and then he arranged a couple of them for us as well, just to change it up. But yeah, a lot of it's just me sitting down with a concept and at my computer and the keyboard and just banging through something until it starts turning into something else, and then revising it again and again and again until I'm happy with it. Sometimes that process takes weeks as I dawdle and procrastinate. And other times, like, I'm really inspired, it'll happen within a day. We did one this summer called Ashes that was in the Deadpool 2 movie that Celine Dion sang. And I heard it come out, and we had everyone coming here the next week to do a wave of videos, and I heard it, and I said, I like this, I could do something with it. So like, that day, I arranged the song and said, all right, guys, we're going to squeeze this into our schedule. And we ended up doing a double video shoot that day to add this track in as well. Sometimes it happens quick, sometimes it takes forever.
Yeah.
That's kind of the process.
And it's nice because it's a little free-flowing, too, when we record things for the first time. Even like yesterday, we were recording Footloose, I think.
Yeah.
a Charlie Puth song, and if it ends up sounding like it's going to be better in somebody else's voice, we'll pass it off to somebody else. But we kind of have a vision of where it's going to go, and then if you kind of
So the Charlie Puth song is coming out, One Call Away, and I kind of envisioned that as Adam sang the whole time. I said maybe I could change it up in the middle, but then we did it. Like, nope, this sounds great. But then we were doing Footloose as well, and then we were passing it up and like, what do you think? How do you think it'd sound here? I think it'd sound here, and it's very flexible in that regard. And rarely do we have it set in stone before you go into the studio. Studio meaning.
Yeah, the direction moving forward with 7th Ave, we've been approached by some of those reality singing vocal competition shows. We just weren't really sure if we had that selling factor that they would want for those shows, no sob stories, or, I thought maybe, the brother-sister rivalry thing, but we just don't know if our product is going to be worth all the effort that we'd have to put into it. Because we love just doing what we want to do and not being pigeonholed into anything or being told what we have to do. We just create our own content and we do what we want to do. We make it on YouTube and we love that. So we're kind of still just figuring it out as we go along, exactly what we're going to do to continue getting exposure. Sometimes our videos really do take off and they get 1 million or 2 views, and that's great. Sometimes they don't. It's a kind of a hit or miss situation. But we love what we do, so let's keep doing it.
And one aspect that's really nice about this is that since 7th Ave isn't our full-time job or career, it's what we do for our own outlet and for creating the art, we're free to kind of do whatever we want to do. We're not forced to try to be something because we need this to succeed. And obviously we want to succeed, but I think our biggest goal is to just enjoy making cool things. Mm-hmm. So we might choose a song that isn't super popular right now, or maybe isn't. We know it's not going to do anything virally, but we just really want to do this song. So we just say whatever, we'll just do it.
And we can.
Nice.
And we can do it.
But the music industry today is different from what it's been our entire lives, and we're seeing
before the internet.
Yeah, before the internet, Fortunately, we're here to see the birth of all of that, and we kind of, I think, have the advantage of knowing what it was before that and how it is now. I think the way that I look at it is that certain groups rise to the top, especially because of this platform from the internet or from singing competitions. So, for example, the 2 that come to mind that would make it difficult for other vocal groups to also rise to the top are Pentatonics and Postmodern Jukebox, which are 2 very prominent groups in the music industry today, and I feel as though they rose to the top so successfully and so rapidly that anybody else that shows up is going to be immediately compared to them. So unless you have something that is a total gimmick that sets you apart from everyone else that's risen to the top, you're going to get lost in the shuffle. So
we had that problem with Home Free, actually. Even though Home Free was a country group, well, we both won the sing-off, Home Free and Pentatonics. We were constantly being compared to them.
Right.
And it was still apples and oranges. The only similarity was that it was still a cappella. But other than that, the music content was completely different. The sound was different. Mm-hmm. But that's how people associated us.
That's true. And because you were both from the sing-off, I think that's what it is. I think the music, it's not even just the music industry, but it's consumers too. People want to feel like they're hearing something for the first time, or that you're the only group or the only person doing what you're doing, because that makes you special, and therefore the consumers feel like their tastes are special because they discovered something.
Yeah. So yeah, we've been compared to like Postmodern Jukebox somewhat too, and we don't mind that comparison, but it's also not who we are. It doesn't define us.
Yeah.
That's a challenge in the industry to be similar but be your own thing at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And YouTube's been such a game changer for everyone.
Yeah, it really has.
Anyone can put out content now, and it can take off on its own without a record label pushing it and stuff.
And the quality can be so vast. We were watching the Baby Shark video earlier. And you're filming with Baby Shark, and it's the simplest production value and the stupidest song, and it has 2.4 billion views.
It's not stupid to 4-year-olds.
That's true, but it's finding that niche. Whereas you
It's
can
finding
spend,
your audience.
we've found this problem with our music videos too. We can spend $5,000 to $10,000 on this amazing video that gets nothing, and we can spend nothing on a video that gets 100,000 views or something. Because there's no rhyme or reason. There's no direct correlation between the amount of investment you put into it versus what the result is, which is very interesting. But 20 years ago, no, music videos were music videos.
The formula's changed. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but the formula has changed. to success now.
Yeah.
I think the investment is different too, because before it used to be a monetary thing. You had to have a record label, things like that. But now, like you said, with things like YouTube and the investments that you're putting in, when there's so much talent in the world, there's so much. And if you don't have that thing that really makes you niche and sets you apart, what you have to show is your personality. And like that's what's I think cool about our shows and our videos and even things like this.
Totally.
Like what we want to do is we want to be able to showcase our passions and what we love and who we are. And that's how you have to get the draw nowadays. You really have to showcase yourself, because beforehand, when you were just working out of a record label and there weren't all these internet videos and things like that, all people saw was your talent, your voice, unless you go to one live concert. Exactly. It's how other people frame you. But now we have the opportunity to frame ourselves in a way we want to be perceived in the industry. And it's a more direct to the fan base type of investment rather than an investment in a label or something
Yeah,
like
and
that.
maybe we mentioned Patreon too. As
that's a new thing too. Now, the last few years, a website called Patreon, where fans of whoever artist you have in any genre, music or art,
Cartoons.
or graphic novels, whatever, you can invest directly into them, bypassing all the different aspects. So if you love somebody, you want to give them $10 a month for their content, you can do that through a site called Patreon and other crowdfunding sites too, which has also changed the game so much for artists in any way, shape, or form.
Right.
So a question that and I think all of us get asked fairly often, and understandably so, is by younger people if they're interested in music or the performing arts, how do you do this? And one of the first things I'll often say is kind of where they're coming from. I try to find that out, because if you want to do performing arts, you have to love it. Love it beyond anything. You have to love it so much that you can't imagine your life without it. That you would do this for free just because you need to have this expression in your life. And if you don't have that, I tell them, don't do it. Take music or your art or whatever it is and enjoy it as a hobby and just love it for what it is and have it enrich your life while you do something else. Because to do this world, you have to commit to it 110%. It's the kind of thing where you stay up till 3 in the morning working on a project because you just can't not stop. You love it so much. And I think that's the kind of level of dedication you need to have in this industry to do it. And that's great. It's wonderful. There's nothing wrong with that in any shape or form.
Yeah, pay your dues.
Yeah, that's one of the first things I tell people. If you just look at it like, well, I'm maybe interested in doing this, it could be fun. Like, no. That's not the level you need to do this. You have to be willing to accept all the rejection. I mean, how many auditions that just...
Rejection is 99% of this business, and you have to be okay with that.
Thick skin.
The advice that I would always give is never give up and never stop learning, because there are going to be days where you feel at your lowest of lows, but you have to get through those to feel the highest of highs. And when you get to those highest of highs, you can't say, hey, I made it. You have to keep learning. You have to keep studying and honing your skills and pursuing your craft. You have to invest in yourself in order to get that investment returned to you from other people.
Yeah, you never stop learning. I'm still developing new skills and new ideas and stuff.
And that's part of the passion and the love for it. I feel
Yeah.
like when you love something and when you're so devoted to it and interested, you're always wanting to find out new things. You're wanting to challenge yourself and get to new levels of height. And I think also for the younger children that ask us these questions, and I look back at my own life, and I kind of, the only regret that I have is that I didn't have anybody kind of guiding me at a younger age and saying, these are the things you need to do now, which would have been getting more involved in any kind of music group or any sort of like just pursuing it at the highest level that you can and what you have access to in your town. And like I said, I didn't have a choir in my high school, so I feel like there are a lot of developmental things that I could have learned very early on that I just didn't have access to. So it's kind of like, if especially the parents of the children that are kind of expressing an interest in this, they have to be as willing as the kids are to drive them wherever they need to go to be a part of a choir, a theater group, or whatever.
Yeah.
And one interesting thing too is people be scared. If you want to do music, like, oh no, it's so hard to make a career out of it, which it is. But there are a lot of opportunities to perform. I mean, like cruise ships is one of the biggest examples. There are hundreds and thousands of cruise ship performing jobs that are out there in the world that you can do, and theme parks and stuff. So there are lots of different outlets than just being a recording artist or a songwriter or something in this world. And so if you do want to do it, you do everything.
Yeah.
You do it all.
Yeah.
And it's about knowing your own successes as well. You can't rely on the validation of others to consider yourself success. If you have an experience of growth where you feel really proud of something, even if you're in an audition and you don't book it, but it's the best time you've ever performed that song, that's success. If you release a single and 15 people buy it on iTunes, but it is a quality tune and you sound great, you play great, you're proud of it, that's success. And you have to celebrate your successes every time they come, and don't rely on other people telling you you're great to feel great about yourself.
Yeah, don't just compare yourself to others the whole time too. Like, oh, it's not good enough, it's not as good as blah blah.
And it's not a zero-sum game. Other people's success does not diminish your own success.
Yeah. Yes. Totally.
I hear a lot of times people asking artists, well, who do you want to be like? Who do you aspire to have their career? And I always say, I don't want anyone else's career. I want to be me. Why would I want to be Julia Roberts? Why would I want to be Taylor Swift? Yeah, I don't want to be the next Taylor Swift. I want to be the first Marie Nicole. So, mic drop.
And one other thing too is I would encourage networking is so invaluable. You just never know how you might meet somebody who 5 years later suddenly becomes a thing. Like I met Marie, 10 years ago, and we stayed in loose contact until a couple years ago, where suddenly now we got this explosion of collaboration. Same with Adam, and same with Jerome, who Adam went with Jerome on the Voice together with. We invited him out to come be in a music video with us just for the heck of it, and he said yes, because he just says yes to everything, because you never know what's going to come of it. Yeah. And it just exploded for him and for you together as a result too.
Yeah. Networking is important, definitely.
If you ever plan to motor west, travel my way, take the highway, that's the best. Get your kicks on Route 66.
I think this is, anyone that's watching this interview, I just think that and I think you probably have gathered this from watching and listening to us speak, but it's our passion for music and passion for creating and doing what we love to do. And I think that my hope would be anyone that's listening and engaging with this interview is that they see our passion and they want to support that passion. And we have many ways that people can become involved in supporting our art. We're not doing this really for personal gain, it's just for sharing what we love with the world. And I think that anytime anybody shares what they love with the people around them, it enhances everybody's lives.
Yeah.
Well said.
Yeah.
And those avenues are avenues.
There are 7 of them.
7 Avs.
Through our
There may be, actually.
social media stuff or our Patreon
Find us
site,
on
YouTube,
Facebook,
things like that. Yeah.
Instagram, and check out our Patreon to support us
YouTube.
financially. YouTube, subscribe. Find our individual pages.
Yeah,
Chris,
that's
Adam,
a lot.
Tristan.
Can we count this? Wait, there may be 7 avenues.
Well, if we count 4 individual pages right there, then we have
That's
more.
We'll have too many. So we've got Instagram, Twitter, Facebook,
We do have a Pinterest. We never use it, but we do have one.
YouTube.
YouTube,
Patreon.
Pinterest.
And our website.
Website.
Our website.
And our website, www.7thaveband.com.
There we go. The 7 Avs of supporting.
7 avenues of supporting 7th Ave.
Love it.
Oh my gosh, we have to put that in our show notes. That's
There.
going to be in our show.
You're watching the creative process explode right now.
And that's what we wanted from this interview.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah, and hopefully this interview inspires people too. Obviously we want people to follow us, but we want to also inspire others.
Motivate,
to do this sort of thing. There's not a limit of how much art there can be in the world. And that's one of the neat things about our current society, and again, the accessibility of being able to create art. Create it. Doesn't matter if it's good or bad or whatever, you're just expressing yourself, and that's what we do, at whatever level you want to do it at. Just create the things. There's been so many people throughout our lives that have inspired us. That's great to be able to hopefully inspire other people. I think of our choir directors growing up, and myself. I'm the inspirer for you. Aww. This just got real, yo. But we all have those people in our lives, people we looked up to, people that helped us out. And that's one of those things they say, help people on the way up because you might meet them on the way down or something like that. Or don't be mean to people on the way up because
you'll be seeing them again on the way down. That's for sure.
Just be a good person. That's kind of the end result there.
So thank you, thank you all of you for watching, and thank you to all the musicians that have inspired us.
Yeah, too many to count.
Bye.